morning this Tuesday, Parenting Tuesday. It is the first one and I'm so excited. It is the first Parenting Tuesday in 2025 and we are so excited bringing you interesting conversation this morning, and it is about, you know, our teens, our young moms. We have young mothers around us, you know, in our society, in our communities, teenage pregnancies. Have you heard about that? Have you experienced that, you know, or do you know someone who has gone through it? What are some of the challenges? What are some of the lessons that probably they've gone through or they've learned in this whole experience? And today with me in studio, I'm super excited to be hosting a young mommy. Our topic for today is Teen Mom's Diary. She'll be talking to us about her diary since she was a mom at the age of 16, and a specialist, a counselor, a counseling psychologist, Alethea Sunday. So join me in this conversation on 20316 SMS line and WhatsApp us on 0786316316. Karibuni sana in studio. Alethea, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Alethea Sunday. I am a counseling psychologist specializing in addiction. Yes.
Okay, Lorraine, introduce yourself.
Okay. Thank you, viewers. My name is Lorena Kenya. I'm the teen mother.
Oh yeah, karibu sana, and thank you so much for making time to be here with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just to start the conversation, Lorraine, how old are you first right now, if you don't mind sharing?
I'm 20.
You're 20.
Yeah.
At what age did you get pregnant?
16.
16. Okay. You know, how was it like?
I cannot say, but it was not easy. It was tough. A little tough because parents, families, and society.
Okay.
Both of them were talking about you. They reject me, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's your parents now?
My parents and both society.
Or even including your friends, because I'm sure you had friends. So at this point, you seem like to be all alone.
Yeah.
Okay. Alethea,
Yes.
what are some of, because she's just talked, actually, what she's just mentioned is some of the challenges. What are some of the common, very common challenges that a teen mom, you know, goes through in this period of pregnancy?
So some of the common challenges that a teen mom goes through, emotional distress, when you have the sudden responsibility to be a parent.
Right.
Remember, this, as much as this is a growing adult, they're still a child in some way.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the overwhelming feelings that they feel, paired with the stigma that they're going through, the isolation from friends, from society.
Yeah.
And sometimes they isolate themselves because you put yourself in social gatherings, you're judged. So you pull back.
Okay.
Yes. So shame and guilt as well.
Right.
Because you don't know the circumstance in which this teen got pregnant. Sometimes it's abuse. Sometimes they were misled.
Yeah, peer pressure.
So they blame themselves.
Right.
They have low self-esteem. They start feeling like, why did I do this? How am I ever going to make something out of myself? Beating themselves up. So those are some of the challenges that they go through.
Okay. And you know, you've talked about, we don't know the circumstance, but I don't know, Lorraine, if you may talk to us about the circumstance, what happened. Was it peer pressure? Was it lack of guidance from your parents? Was it, you know, what was it that got you into this situation and you're like, you know, oh my God, yeah.
Let me say it was peer pressure.
Okay.
Because one of my friends had pregnancy.
Oh.
Yeah, so we said, like, friends,
your age mates, let's do
us
this.
Try. Then we tried it. Like.
It was peer pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you get yourself into this situation. How did that make you feel at first?
At first, I feel like killing myself. I cannot say, but I can say I feel like I was helpless.
At the time?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you still living, of course you're still living with your parents, or when you got pregnant, you ran away from them?
When I got pregnant, my parents was rude and tough.
Yeah.
When they know that I was pregnant, when I come back, by that time I went to my friend's house.
Okay.
When I come
The
back,
same friend that you decided to be
Yeah.
pregnant with.
yeah.
Okay.
When I come back, I found my things at the door.
How? Okay. Okay. From your parents threw you out.
Yeah.
Okay. Daktari, how do you now in her situation? Here she is, of course, there's emotional strain, and she's also at 16 probably going through adolescence, or
Yes.
all that body changes and stuff.
Yes.
As an expert, then how can someone like that just balance out things and be in a proper mental health?
Well, I would say get a support system. Usually, most of the time, this happens to be your family, but it doesn't always have to be your family members. Like in her case, her parents were quite tough on her,
Yeah.
and they kind of dismissed her.
Right.
So whoever your support system may be, try and get a support system. It's very important. When you're getting overwhelmed
Okay.
and you're feeling defeated,
Yes.
and you could even be going through depression and so many emotions, and you don't see yourself.
Yeah.
So someone being able to check on you and see you, and even having a place to just go and vent and talk,
Yeah.
is very helpful. And then
Okay.
also people who have been there before you, like let's say they've been mothers before, they can guide you, they can tell you,
Okay.
a few more things that will help your journey easier.
Easier.
Of course, going for therapy. Aside from having a support system,
Yeah.
also there can be conflict.
Right.
Yes, there
Right.
can be conflict on how to raise the child, what to do, what not to do. And again, people are human. Sometimes they can remind you, you took yourself there,
Yeah.
things like that.
The
But
pain.
having a professional helping you now deal with all that, a neutral person who will not judge you, who will not remind you of what you did, and
Yeah.
this is the reason why you are here.
Okay.
Yeah, so going for therapy is definitely important.
Important.
Yes, staying
Okay.
informed
and that
as
support
well.
system.
Yes, and staying informed as well. The more
Correct.
you know, the easier it is.
Okay.
Motherhood is not easy. In general, for even new mothers, there's a lot of things that they usually do not know. So you can imagine how much harder it is for a teenager,
Yeah.
a teen mom. So staying informed, knowing, oh, this is what to do, this is what not to do,
Right.
that will help.
Okay.
Definitely. Yes.
Lorraine, did you, Dr. is talking about support system. Did you get any support system at the time?
No, I did not get. Yeah, because by that time I was alone. I had no friends, I had no parents, I had no guardians.
Where is the father to, the person
The father-
responsible?
The person,
Disowned?
yeah,
Huh?
I was nowhere to be seen by that time. Yeah.
So how did you handle that situation? Now here you are, you're alone, all alone. How did you navigate? How did you go through that period?
By that time I searched for a little money
Okay.
and went to the village to see my grandpas.
Okay.
That's where I began my journey as a teen mother.
Okay.
But things were not easy even while I was there. But I just carried on.
But did your grandparents, did they embrace you? Did they welcome you?
Yeah, my grandpa did, but my grandmother was the same as...
Hostile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my grandpa used to advise me. And when I give birth, by the time I give birth, he took me to courses. This which I learned dressing and beauty. That's why I started
Okay.
my life as a young mother, single mother.
Dr. What are the long-term effects, on such a young mom going through all that, psychological, the long-term effect of that on her and also on the child that she's going to bear?
Well, the long-term effects would be usually when a teen mom gives birth,
Yeah.
education, they
Right.
stagnate on that.
Right.
And the moment that you stagnate on education, that affects the careers you go into,
Yeah.
the jobs that you
Future.
can get, and that affects your income. So you'll find that there's a trend where they tend to go into poverty. Not
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
but some.
Right.
Or even if they do go back to school,
Yeah.
it is not very easy for them to catch up with the rest of their peers. By the time maybe they're going back to school, it's been 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So catching up, there's so many challenges with that. Even the job market will look at them and say, between your age mates and you, let's say you're 3 years behind.
Yeah.
Your age mates have already graduated. Maybe they're doing their masters.
Yeah.
You're probably in second year. You see, by the time you're finishing, they are always ahead of you.
Right.
So those are the challenges that they go through.
Okay.
For the child, they have an unstable family dynamic. Yes, an unstable environment.
Right.
And that usually can lead to teen pregnancy. The child themselves being predisposed to teenage pregnancy
As well. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a vicious cycle.
So it's a cycle.
Yeah.
Yes. And then also behavioral issues, developmental delays. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lorraine, tell me, you how many children do you have so far?
2.
2. What are their ages?
One is, let me say 3, because she's doing, the other one is 1 year.
The other one is 1 year.
Yeah.
So you got, and now you're 20, so you got one when you're probably 16, 17, thereabout,
Yeah.
and then 19. Okay. How has that affected your, you know, of course, like Dr. Ari has talked about education, your future plans, your dreams. How do you think that has been affected in one way or the other?
A lot.
Talk about it.
A lot. Because, you know, by the time you're in class, you say, when I grow up, I will be a doctor.
Yeah.
Or I'll be a salonist. But all of them, they vanished because you are there with pregnancy. You cannot help yourself. You are the victim himself. So you can't help. So by that time, my dream was to be a journalist.
Oh, you can
But
still be.
This kid or this child waste everything, I can say like that. That's when a certain time you can say to the kid, you feel like even without you, my life would have been far. You can get yourself, sometimes you are putting hatred in that kid.
Yeah, and anger.
Yeah. So that's even a lot.
Dr. Ari, how can she deal with that? You know, now that you're here and she's here, I think what she's trying to say is, you know, there's that anger and hatred, and you're like, you're the cause of my, you know, lack of progression in life. How can she navigate that kind of feeling?
Well, definitely, that is, I would not say it's a normal emotion.
Reaction.
Very normal, but it's not always common.
Right.
Yeah, it varies with teen moms. However, it's 100% normal.
Okay.
It happens. And sometimes you may find yourself projecting these feelings of anger and bitterness unknowingly.
Yeah.
It's not that you wake up in the morning and decide, I want to be bitter to my child, I want to do this and that. But you can't help but see your friends are moving forward, you're not moving forward, you're having certain challenges, you know, and this child is not going anywhere, you see. So she can deal with that by going to therapy, talking about the challenges that you're going through, step by step, but with a professional. Yes, so that you can be able to see, this is what I want to achieve. How do I go about it?
Okay.
Your path to achieving your dreams will not be the same as your peers who do not have children, but it does not mean that you can't achieve them.
Absolutely.
You're still very young. You're still very, very young. It doesn't mean, you might not be a journalist at this moment, but it doesn't mean in 5 years you can't enroll, go to school, join a university and graduate, you see. So there's hope after that, and that's also now where the support system comes in. The people who support the teen mom need to speak life into the teen.
You're right.
Show them that there's life after
the pregnancy.
After the pregnancy, after being a mother, and even if it happens again, there's still life after that. Yes, you should not also neglect yourself. Self-care is important. Make sure you sleep, make sure you eat well, make sure you're exercising.
Right.
Because you're also still young, and you have a very long way to go. You need to be able to show up for yourself and even show up for these children. And you cannot be able to do that if you're also neglecting yourself.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I cannot.
That way you will be less resentful also, because you'll also be pouring back into yourself. But you become resentful when you see everything is being sucked, like my life is being sucked out of me, going to this child. But when you're also replenishing yourself, yes, it helps with that.
Absolutely. So Lorraine, you hear that. Love yourself. You know, give yourself self-love, give yourself empathy and grace according to what Dr. Ari is saying, you know, and just be there and enjoy motherhood. You're still very young, so don't give up hope, okay? Yeah, so here you are, and you have these 2 children. What is your source of income? How do you manage to take care of these 2 children?
Sometimes I always show clothes.
Okay.
Yeah, for people, then they pay me back.
Okay.
There is some seasons like this January, you plant kids lines while they're going back to school.
Okay.
And last year, the holiday. There's
For
some
Christmas.
Christmas. So I cannot say the last year, December, it was good, and this January, next month we don't know how we will survive, but God knows a lot. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And that's how you manage to take care of your two children. So these two children are not from the same person, right? So even the second one, the one who's about 1 year, you also don't get any support from the
dad.
From the
So
dad.
the dad has many stories because of the first kid. Yeah, so he said that he cannot help the first kid because his father is alive. I told him if you cannot help him, no problem, so stop helping the other one. I will help them all because I'm their mother. Yeah.
Okay. So that's also part of the challenge probably you're going through as a young teen mom. Okay. Daktari, there's the society can, stigmatize young mothers, teen mothers. What are some of the mental implications that this can have on these young people, young parents?
Some of the mental implications would be depression.
Yeah.
Yes. And this depression starts with isolation. The family that you knew, that you grew up with and believed to love you, maybe discards you. And it doesn't mean that they don't love you, but that's the way of responding to the situation, unfortunately. So once you're isolated, you have no friends, you have no sense of connection or sense of belonging, depression follows. Yes. And now once you start feeling depressed, now that's where the hopelessness begins. That's when you feel, I don't want to live anymore. As she had shared, she felt that there's a time that she didn't even want to live. Yeah, and it can get very severe. Again, if you don't have a good support system, people cannot even notice that you're sleeping. They just see you're waking up, taking care of the kids, but on the inside, you feel so drained, you feel so broken, you feel like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then anxiety. When you do happen to go for social gatherings, let's say it's a funeral, that one you have to go, or it's a wedding, or or people just happen on you.
Right.
You're always anxious. What are people going to think of me? What am I doing this thing right? When people are having a conversation, you're like, are they talking about me? You become so anxious that you cannot enjoy even a celebration or a birthday or even just your day-to-day things. You feel like I'm always the topic of discussion.
Right.
And then low self-esteem. You doubt your abilities to be a good parent to this child because of what society has made you go through and how they have made you feel. You start thinking, am I really capable of being a parent to this child and giving them what they require? Not just, being there, but going above and beyond and giving them their best. Or am I just going to prove everyone right, like they said? Because there will always be people in the background saying, that one, she will not even last this and this and this long, you see? Yeah.
Okay. Lorraine, as a mother, I don't think it's all about the dark side. There's also a good side to it. Yeah. What are the joys of being a teen mom?
If I can say, there is some little joy because if they're standing, they're telling people that if you have, you cannot say, but they let me say, by now, for example, you are gone, like you are dead. What will you leave back? Children. And when you are going somewhere, let me say like Saturdays. But that back then you are going alone. But now you are catching hands,
with your two people, you are going somewhere.
So there is another joy that if all of them, they are calling you mom, you feel like you are stable. That in itself makes you very happy to just see them around there. Okay. Daktari, of course, you've talked about self-love for herself, because she's saying at some point when she sees her children, she's happy. You've talked about self. What else can she do just to be in that kind of mood, most of the time, apart from the self-love?
Well, I would say tap into the things that you liked doing while you were a teen or before the children came in. So maybe if you liked drawing, or if you liked music, or journalism or whatever it is that makes you feel alive, do those things and keep doing them. That way you feel like I've not lost myself completely. And you also give yourself hope that I can also be something else. Yeah, I can also be something else aside from my current situation, or what it is that I am feeling.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic. Dr. was just talking about some of the things you may have been going through and how to navigate that. Just to take you back, how old was this guy who was responsible for your first pregnancy?
The guy was 22.
22.
Yeah.
And you are 16.
Yeah.
So he was the adult, and you, I mean, we call you a child then.
Yes.
Isn't it, Daktari?
Yes.
So, and you talked about it like, it is what? It was there's something you used, the name you used.
Statutory rape.
Statutory rape.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this happens when a child has sex with an adult.
Okay.
Yes, and it might be consensual or not, but however, in the eyes of the law, the other person is an adult. Like in this case, the man she was with was above 18 years old. And, well, this person knows more.
Yeah.
They know more than you do. And even though people will say, you know, you took yourself there and whatnot, they don't really understand the full scope of the consequences, what happens, you know, because their mind is very young.
Yeah.
They're not able, their frontal lobe has not yet fully developed.
Correct.
The point where they can make decisions in a very sound way, like the way an adult would make decisions. So you find that these people take advantage, and they do know that this like in her case, she was underage. They knew, but they do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are some of the things that contribute to teen pregnancy. Yeah.
Okay. Lorraine, if you look back, or when you look back at your situation, I'm sure there's a parent watching and also listening, because you're live on TV and radio. What would you like parents to know or to even do for their young daughters mostly? Because I think the daughters is where the hammer really hits hard.
Yes.
What would you like for these parents to know or to handle the situation better, if you're speaking to a parent who is watching us right now or listening?
So, what I can tell the parents, mistake is a mistake. When you're there, you have a man, you don't know you'll get that pregnancy. Yeah, because let me say it's love. The first time it's blind, so you don't know what will come next. So parents, what I can say, parents should know how to handle such cases. Because by that time I was young. I cannot say that I was 18 or 17. I did not know what I was doing. So parents should accommodate us.
Forgive.
Yeah, and forgiveness. You should not take your child just for granted, because by the time you're giving birth, it's painful. Yeah. So if there is any mistake, you should put your child down and tell him this and this is not bad, and this is bad. When you do this, you will get this. So like me can say, my mother did not think twice.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why she pulled me out of that house. But by time she came back to her mind, and she asked for forgiveness, and even me I saw your mistake. Yeah.
Okay.
And everything went well.
Okay, after the forgiveness. So how long did that take for you to reconcile? And she said, okay, it is fine.
After me giving birth.
Immediately after?
Yeah. Then after me giving birth, I said that this kid, I will name him my dad.
Oh, so, it's a boy.
Yeah, it's
the first one, eh?
Yeah.
Or both of them?
No, the first one.
Oh, okay.
So my dad, when my dad had that, I don't know what came over him, and he called me. Because when I was pregnant, when I went to the village, nobody was calling me. I did not know if my parents was alive or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. Daktari, she did not know whether her parents were alive or not. So, of course, that is depression setting in. At some point, it will or it may. What are some of the red flags of someone who is going through depression?
Some of the red flags would be change in appetite. You find that you're either not eating at all, or you're eating much more than you used to. You're no longer interested in the things that used to make you feel happy or active. Let's say you were in a you were a volunteer at church, or you used to paint, or you used to be in a certain club. You no longer want to go for those things anymore. You pull away from social settings and connecting with people. Your friends call you, you don't answer their calls. Not because they've done something to you, but you just don't have the capacity to engage with them the way you normally would. You feel tired, you feel drained. You feel like harming yourself also, or even harming the child in some cases. So you just feel like, this life has no hope, and I just want to end it all. Or you just feel like, I want to hurt myself because I deserve that hurt. Yes, and in this case for teen pregnancy, or even just pregnancy in general, you find yourself having a hard time bonding with the child. Yes, there's frustration, there's, resentment, you're not bonding with the child. Maybe when you're trying to breastfeed, they're not latching on. You're just feeling frustrated. So frustrated, like, now what do I do now? And you see, because you've isolated yourself from maybe your support system, you're struggling with it all by yourself. Yes.
So is that postpartum depression?
Yes, it can be postpartum depression. In this case, because a child is involved. But depression in general, it has similar symptoms. It's just that it changes when a child comes into the picture. There's some things that the dynamics are a bit different, but it's more or less the same thing.
Yeah. All right. Lorraine, about education, you said, at what point did you stop going,
Let me say standard 8.
Class 8.
Yeah.
But before making the mistake, you wanted to, go all the way to Form 4. How do you feel about that right now?
I feel bad, because nowadays, if you are not a Form 4 leaver, you cannot get a job. Yeah.
But would you still like to, go back to school and just...
Like now, I cannot say that I will go back to school, because if I go back to school, we'll take care of the kids. Yeah, and if I'm in that school, I won't focus on what the teacher is talking about. I'll just focus about my kids.
You'll be thinking about your children. Your mother is still alive, though?
Yeah.
And she's not. Have you had that discussion with her? Like,
hey, my mother is not just kind of you can shout, and you're talking to people. You can shout, even the neighbors will know what you are discussing. Yeah.
So have you tried talking to her, like, Mom, can you take care of my children? I go back to school. Have you tried having that conversation?
No, I cannot say, but
she will not accept.
She will not, because the way she used to tell my younger brother that I wasted his money.
You wasted her money?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why. So I cannot see if she can say yes.
Okay. All right. Dr. You spoke to the teen mom, but now speak to the mothers or parents of the teen parents. It could be a boy or a girl. Speak to those parents.
Well, for the parents, I would say, as she has said here, the mistake has already happened.
Right.
Let us not cry over spilled milk. It doesn't mean that your feelings are not valid. They are very much valid. However, let's not focus on that so much and forget about what is really needed and required to support the teen mom and the child that is coming, or the child that is born. Yes, otherwise what happens is that you create a rift, the person gets isolated, nothing gets done. So, you're just, no one is helping anybody.
Right.
You're bitter over there, I'm also bitter over here. So for teen parents, embrace your children. Yeah. Show them and tell them that you love them, despite what has happened. Again, we don't know the circumstance that also this happened. You might think you know, you might not know. And even if you do know, it doesn't change who they are. It doesn't change their value. It doesn't change their possibilities and the kind of person that they could be. What is important is that, is the person intact? Is the teen mom intact? Yes, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, and even physically. Are they healthy? Yes. Now from there, move forward. And for the teen mom parents, understand that it can get overwhelming. Yes. And you might feel something, but know the time and the place to say something.
Okay.
Yes, because you might trigger the teen. Yeah, the teen is just trying to, you know, figure their way out, and then there you are, saying something very, you know, belittling and criticizing. So just treat them gently.
Give them grace.
Give them
kindness.
grace.
Yeah.
Let them take things a day at a time, and even you take things a day at a time. Where you feel you're defeated, seek professional help.
Okay.
Where you're having conflict, go for, okay, you might not be able even to have the services of a professional, but maybe even a neutral family member, a family member who can be neutral and actually wants to see you guys resolve the issues. Yes.
You've talked about therapy, and probably I may want to just chime in that in terms of she may not be able to afford that, probably she needs it. Are there any organizations or support where she can get just therapy at a very subset, or even, you know, a good rate, or even for free?
Yes, there are some organizations that do give free services or give them for a very, you know, low rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of them are NGOs.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can get the help.
Probably you'll talk to about that after the show. Yeah. Lorraine,
Yes.
here you are. Now look at your younger self when you're 16. Assume your younger self is here. What would you tell your younger self? What advice would you give your younger self when you look back?
What I can say to myself when I was 16, I wish I could have avoided. Because my mom was telling me, stop going with your friends. Me there, Mom, you don't love me. You hate me. You like my younger brother.
Yeah.
So, what I can say to my fellow students or friends, that we should listen to our parents. Because there is a mistake that you have made. You want to be with your parents. You'll be you and yourself.
Yeah.
I advise myself that I wish I could have not.
You wish you'd have listened to your parents.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're saying that, especially to your peers. Some are going back to school today, others tomorrow, from Christmas to all that, and we're getting into other holidays. I think during that time, especially for boarding kids. So I know they're hearing you, they're still at home, and I know that message is home. Daktari, how do you develop, like as a teen mom or a teen dad, because actually they're also teen dads, isn't it?
Yes.
How do you develop resilience when you feel I'm overwhelmed, this is just too much for me? How do you develop being resilient, to issues?
Well, you can, resilience is something that happens over time, but what I can say is that encouraging yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, because people will not always be there to clap for you and tell you that you're doing a good job.
Correct.
Because at the same time they're saying, after all, it's what you're supposed to be doing. After all, you're the mother, you're the parent. Yeah. So, clapping for yourself, writing down your small wins and saying, today I achieved this, this is what I did.
Okay.
Yeah, writing those things down. Managing your time. Sometimes it can be very overwhelming to be in 100 places, because that's how it feels.
Yeah.
To be in 100 places all at once. But if you know this is what is required of me, this is what I need to do, this is when I can do it. There's some things, if you're lucky enough, you can even delegate, so that you're not anxious, you're not all over the place, you're not stressed out. You know that, and at the end of the day, you get to achieve what you wanted to achieve. That's the most important part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, you get to achieve what you wanted to achieve.
Yes.
So there's hope, Lorraine.
Yes.
Keep saying that, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lorraine, when you just look at love, marriage, romance, what is your view on it right now? Now that you've already been through not a so rosy kind of affair or experience, what are your views on love and
As
marriage?
for me, if I see marriage, I don't know where I will hide. If I heard about love, I don't know what I can say there, because I've passed through a lot.
Yeah.
So I cannot say that I have 2 kids now, I want someone to check with them to be the father. I cannot say that. The guy loves you when he wants you by that time. After that, it's done. You will never see him. You will never heard from him. Like what is called marriage, I don't want. And I don't like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and what is called love? Let me spread it to my kids, but not to someone. Yeah.
Okay. For example, Dr. Alethea, if she's going through the sense of guilt and shame, which you had mentioned earlier, how would you help her cope? For example, she's now with you. How would you help her cope with such sentiments? Guilt, you know, anxiety. How would you help her navigate that? Or any other person or even parents listening in and watching us this morning?
Well, feeling guilty happens most of the time. And guilt usually happens when you also feel ashamed. Yes, I feel ashamed that, you know, I did this thing and this was a consequence.
Yeah.
And I've brought shame to my parents. My parents, you know, are disappointed in me. And in some cases, they are told we are disappointed in you. Some parents still look at their child the same and say, we love this child. So CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, learning how to separate facts with now, you know, the notions of what it is that you're thinking. Yeah, because if the mind can eat you up alive. Yeah. And you keep thinking distortive thoughts. You know, my parents don't love me now. I'm not valuable anymore as a person. You know, what am I even doing here? If I can't even do a simple task like maybe you've done a task today, let's say breastfeeding or changing a diaper, and you had a challenge with it. It's new to you. Now, I cannot do this small thing. What about the remaining things that need to be done? So just going through the thoughts step by step and understanding where is the rationale behind these thoughts. Are they facts or are they coming from a place of guilt? And the moment that you're able to separate the two, now the person will be able to see that actually there is nothing for me to feel guilty about. Yes, I feel bad that I have made this decision and I should take accountability for it. But it doesn't mean I should beat myself up for the rest of my life and tell myself, oh, I did this thing and now, no. Yeah, this is when you face up and say, yes, I made this decision, these are the consequences. However, it does not change who I am. It does not change the value in you know, in the things that I do, the things that I want, and even the lives that I can touch. You can even decide to okay, maybe when you're new into being a teen mom, you cannot mentor, but as you grow older, you can help, you know, prevent and even mentor teen moms, because as much as you want to prevent teen pregnancy, it's something that, you know, it's a long way before it stops completely all over the world. So even when it does continue, you can mentor. You know, having that self-confidence. For anxiety is it's a very overpowering feeling, but usually it is the anticipation that something is going to go wrong. So help yourself understand what happens that triggers my anxiety. What is it that makes me feel that this is going to go wrong? Yeah. All right. Once you're able to get into that root cause, yeah, everything else should be easier. Lovely. For the teen mom.
Okay. All right. Lorraine.
Yes.
How has being a mommy, how has it changed you as a person? Are you more patient? Are you more loving? Have you discovered that actually true love exists between you and your child? How has it changed you as a person?
It has changed me a lot, because I feel like I'm happy, and everything happens with a reason. Like now I'm happy that I'm a mother. I cannot say that now I can go to birthdays, bash. So, because now when you go to bash, what will your kids eat? Now you are focused on your work. How in the evening you'll come back with food, your kids' pampers. Yeah, so
you're more responsible?
Yeah.
You feel you're more responsible?
And caring.
And caring.
Because those kids, yes, they're mistakes, but they need love.
Yes. Yes. But I hope you never tell them that.
I know.
Yeah. Because it's important what you tell your children. Okay. When you look at your mother, like how she reacted and how curly she was, you don't, like Dr. said, project it on them. They're very innocent, isn't it? Dr. we're winding up, and probably I may just want to take in your final sentiments on this topic today as we wind up.
Well, my final sentiments would be teen pregnancy is a very complex thing, and it not only affects the teen, but it also affects the family or the caregivers and the support system. And when the teen mom is affected, well, usually if they have a strong support system, that support system is also affected one way or the other.
Okay.
The child is also affected. So what I would say is that for parents, please give grace to your children. Yes, because driving them away drives them further into the wrong direction. You think reprimanding them and telling them certain things helps. It doesn't help. And even though maybe that's how you were raised up, and maybe your own parents were harsh and you know they were no nonsense, be different, do better, love them, support them. Yes, that way it can even prevent them from repeating the same mistake, because again they go back to someone else who seems to love them. And unfortunately some of the time it is not
the right person
who actually loves them. It's someone who just wants to use them, and they end up in the same cycle. And then again the judgment becomes even worse. So you can prevent that. Yes, and even the first instant, you can prevent that by being a present and loving parent. Yes.
Thank you so much, Lorraine. Thank you so much for making time to be here, just opening up yourself to us, to our viewers, our listeners, and telling us your story. Asante sana. We're coming to the end of the show. Dr. Harry, thank you for your time, for the knowledge. Asante sana. And so to my viewers and listeners, wherever you are this morning, I also want to give you a big thank you for staying on and just engaging with us and talking to us, giving us your time. And I won't forget, I may not be able to forget our partners, people who've been with us, holding our hands and just donating and giving us all the support we need, be it financial, be it just moral support through prayers and all that. I want to say a big thank you. And if you want to be part of this very impactful community, just send in your name to 20316, say the word partner, and also 0786316316. Or if you want to send something, a donation, do it on paybill number 316316, and the account name will be your telephone number. Thank you so much. God bless you. See you again tomorrow on Matters Finances, Financial Clinic tomorrow, where we shall be talking about financial literacy for children. See you then. God bless you. Have an amazing Tuesday.